Hello everyone. This is the F part of pollination and fertilization. In the previous session, we have studied about fertilization, structure of pollen grain and ovule, and how fertilization takes place. What all changes takes place, or what all events happens during the fertilization. And we have seen that the zygote is formed after the fusion of the male gamete and the egg. Now, today we will study about the post fertilization changes in the ovule. Post fertilization means the the changes which takes place in the ovule after fertilization. That changes are known as the post fertilization. After fertilization, a large number of changes takes place in the ovule, which can be summarized as follows. So the changes which takes place in ovule we will see here. The egg cell is surrounded by a cell wall and is called the oospore. After the fusion, we have seen that during the fertilization, fusion of the male gamete and the egg takes place, and a zygote or a oospore is formed, and this oospore is surrounded by a cell wall. The oospore develops into an embryo. So the embryo is nothing but it's the oospore which develops into embryo. The definite nucleus, or we can see the secondary nucleus, which is formed. Second definite nucleus means the secondary nucleus, or we can say the fusion of the two polar nuclei takes place to form a definite nucleus. Now the definite nucleus, now called endosperm nucleus, develops into an endosperm. So the secondary nucleus, after the fusion with the second male gamete, forms the endosperm nucleus and it develops into endosperm. This endosperm provides nourishment to the developing embryo. The synergids and the antipodal cells disappear. That means after fertilization, the synergids and the antipodal cells, they vanish or they disappear. The two integuments develop into the seed coats, the outer testa and the inner tegmen. See, in the structure of ovule, we have seen that ovule is surrounded by two layers, and these layers are known as the integuments. So these two integuments, they develop into the seed coats, and the outer one is known as the testa and the inner one is known as the tegmen. Both these testa and tegmen protects the seed from fungi and bacteria and from unfavorable conditions. Complex and insoluble food is formed from the simple and soluble food. So from the simple and soluble food, this complex insoluble food is formed, and it is stored in the cotyledons or the endosperm. And this endosperm, this is the food which provides nourishment to the developing embryo. The ovule is converted into seed and the ovary matures into fruit. So the ovule, after fertilization, it changes into seed, and the ovary, after maturation, or we can call it the matured ovary, forms the fruit. In some cultivated varieties of banana, papaya, grapes, orange, etc., the ovary may develop into fruit without fertilization. The development of the fruit from ovary without fertilization is called parthenocarpy. So children, we have seen that a fruit is formed after the fertilization. But in some of the varieties of banana, papaya, grapes and orange, the ovary may develop into fruit without fertilization. So the fruit which develops without fertilization, are called parthenocarpy. So the development of the fruit from the ovary without fertilization is called parthenocarpy. The parthenocarpic fruits never contain seeds. So all the parthenocarpic fruits, they do not contain any seeds because they are formed without fertilization. The non-essential roles of flower, that is calyx and corolla, fall off. The calyx persists in some cases, example brinjal, tomato, etc. So the non-essential parts which doesn't take place in the process of fertilization, that is calyx and corolla, they fall off, or we can say they wither. The calyx persists. In brinjal, you have seen the persisting calyx is there. In tomato also you can see the persisting calyx. Now, fate of various parts of the ovary after fertilization during the formation of fruit is as follows. So children, this table is also very, very important. That means what is the fate of the following parts after the formation of fruit. See, these are the parts of the ovary, and after fertilization, what happens to these parts after fertilization? Ovary after fertilization changes into fruit. The ovary wall forms the fruit wall, or it is also known as the pericarp. So the fruit wall is known as the pericarp. Ovule after fertilization changes into seed. Funiculus, that is the stalk of the seed. Outer integument, that is the testa, and the inner integument, that is tegment, it changes into seed coat. Testa and tegment together forms the seed coat, and it protects the seed. Secondary nucleus changes into endosperm. Egg cell changes into embryo after fertilization. Synergids and antipodal cells, they are disorganized, or we can say they disappear. Hilum changes into, it remains same as hilum, and micropyle, that is remains same as the micropyle. So children, this table you study. Now we will see the fruit. So what is a fruit? The mature ovary after fertilization forms the fruit. So the mature ovary is known as a fruit. After the process of fertilization, the whole ovary changes into a fruit. The fruit is defined as a ripened or matured ovary. So, what is a fruit? It is a mature or a ripened ovary is known as a fruit. The wall of the ovary may harden or may become fleshy and succulent fruit wall called the pericarp. We have seen, children, the fate of the parts after fertilization. So the wall of the ovary, it becomes sometimes hard, or it becomes fleshy and succulent and forms the fruit wall, and that is also known as the pericarp. The fruit contains one to many seeds. So after fertilization, fruits are formed. Fruits contains the ovules changes into seed, and the number of seeds may vary from one to many according to the type of the fruit. Biological significance of fruits. What is the biological significance or the importance of fruits? The formation of fruits has its own biological significance for the plants, such as fruits protect the immature seeds from unfavorable climatic conditions. So, one of the biological importance of the fruit is that it protects the seed from the unfavorable conditions. The seeds remain enclosed in the fruit until they are ready for germination. So, you have seen the seeds are surrounded by the fruits, and they remain inside the fruit till they are ready for germination. When mature, the fruit is brightly colored to attract the animals that help in the dispersal of the seeds. When the fruits become mature, they have bright color to attract the animals and birds, and this helps in the dispersal of the seeds. Immature fruits contain unpalatable and repelling substances such as tannin, bitter alkaloids, sour acids, etc. They provide chemical defense against the animals. You have seen, children, that the raw fruits are not eaten by the animals. Only the ripe fruits are eaten by the animals and birds, but the raw fruits are not eaten by the animals and birds. This is because of their bitter taste, tannin, alkaloids, and sour acids, which provides a chemical defense against the animals. Because of their bitter taste, sour taste, they do not these animals, they do not eat the raw fruits. This is the biological importance of the fruits. Now about the economic importance of fruits. Many fruits form a part of our food. Moreover, many birds and other animals eat fruits as their food. See, we eat the fruits, which is a part of our food because it provides us with vitamins and minerals. And the birds and other animals also eat fruits as their food. Staple food of human beings consists of cereals, which are seeded dry fruits. See, these fruits we can see as forms the staple food. Some of the seeds, they forms our staple foods and they are used as cereals, and they are the dry fruits, we can say. A large number of fruits such as the lady's finger, tomato, eggplant, pumpkin, cucumber, etc. are used as vegetables. Most of the fruits, they are used as vegetables, and fruits are good source of vitamins, minerals, organic acids, pectins and sugars. So these fruits provide us with vitamins, different sorts of vitamins and minerals. Some fruits, such as the unripe fruits of papaver, are used as medicines. Some of the fruits, they are used as unripe fruits, they are used in making medicines also. So all these are the economic importance of fruits. Now about the seeds. See, mature and ripened ovary is known as a fruit. In the same way, the mature ovule is known as the seed. The ovule develops rapidly after fertilization using the food reserves. So the ovule, it develops rapidly after fertilization by using the food reserves. The food is reserved in the endosperm. The mature ovule after fertilization is known as the seed. So what is a seed? It is a mature ovule which is formed after fertilization is known as the seed. The seed is covered from outside by hard and protective seed coat. As you have seen there, the integuments form the seed coat. That is, the outer one is the testa and the inner one is the tegmen, and together they are known as the seed coat. They protect the seed. The seed coat develops from the integuments of the ovule. The seed contain a potential plant or embryo. The embryo consists of tiny root and a small plant. Now every seed has a embryo. Embryo, that means we can call it as a baby plant, and this embryo consists of roots and small shoots. There are one or two food-laden cotyledons that provide nourishment to the developing embryo. So if the seed is monocotyledon, so one cotyledon will be present in the seed. If it is a dicotyledon seed, then two cotyledons will be present, and these two cotyledons or one cotyledon, it provides nourishment to the developing embryo. Now about the significance. What is the significance of the seed? Seeds are very significant in the life of flowering plants, such as seeds help in the development of new flowering plants. As we all know, the seeds helps in the development of the new flowering plants. When we sow the seeds, we can have many more flowering plants. They help in the dispersal of the fixed plants. So the seeds are useful in the dispersal of the fixed plants. The plants which are fixed, they cannot move. So seeds can be dispersed from one place to another. They help in overcoming unfavorable conditions. So till the seeds overcome the unfavorable conditions, and when the conditions become favorable, they start germinating. So here children, we end the chapter of pollination and fertilization. Children, go through this chapter, read it again. What is triple fusion? What is double fertilization? And the function of each and every part of the ovary, and the structure of pollen grain, and the structure of ovule. All these things are very, very important. And after the next day, I will send you the question answers or the assignment of this chapter. Write down the assignment in your classwork copy, biology copy. Thank you.